Today we're going to talk a little bit about the anatomy of breathing, just so you have the basics. In the body, there's a thin muscle called the diaphragm, and it looks sort of like the top of an umbrella, and it separates the abdominal cavity and the chest cavity, moving along like that, in that shape. And when we breathe, the diaphragm moves down into the belly. That creates a vacuum in the chest. Air comes in to fill the void. And then when we breathe out, the diaphragm rises, forcing all that air back out of the mouth and the nose. So the diaphragm is a really powerful muscle, and it's the major muscle involved in breathing. So again, the diaphragm comes down, that creates a vacuum in the chest, air comes in, and then the diaphragm moves up, forcing that air back out. So the inhale and the exhale happen completely without our control. We don't have to have any involvement in it. It's really cool. But breathing is one of the very few things that happens automatically without our control, but also we can control it. So a lot of us have abnormalities in our breath. And those abnormalities can show up in a lot of different ways. We can hold the breath. Okay, I'm going to turn blue like my shirt. We can have a lot of tension in the throat, and that constricts the breath, makes the air coming in, makes it harder to bring the air in. So you may feel like there's constantly a lump in your throat, and that could be you restricting and holding and controlling the breath. We could have a collapsed chest, where the chest comes down. You can imagine as the chest comes down, the diaphragm needs to move down, but there's not as much space here because the belly's being pushed on by the chest. Everything's coming forward. So collapsed chest means that the breath is going to be really shallow because the diaphragm can't fully move down. You could also be a reverse breather, and that means when the air comes in, the belly goes in, and then when the air goes out, the belly goes out. Now, if you think about the diaphragm, as the diaphragm moves down, it's going to push all the organs out of the way, so on the inhale, the belly is naturally going to push out, and then as the diaphragm moves up and the air exhales, the organs have space to move back into their natural position. So the natural way of breathing is that on the inhale, the belly expands, and on the exhale, the belly condenses back into its natural place. So if you're a reverse breather, you're doing the opposite of that. So on the inhale, your belly is going in, and on the exhale, your belly is going out. You can also be frozen in your patterns. So that means you're holding the container of the body quite stiff, as if you're an aluminum can. And so the air may be moving inside, but the outside's not moving very much. You're really tight. And so none of the muscles can move. And so like we said, when the diaphragm comes down, the belly needs to expand. But if we're holding really tight, the diaphragm doesn't have anywhere to move. The chest doesn't have anywhere to move with the breath. Another way that we may control our breath or limit it is through grasping. So if you are frequently out of breath, you may not be inhaling fully or exhaling fully. So you're constantly thinking, oh, I need more. I'm grasping for breath. I'm out of breath. So those are just a few ways that you may notice that you impact your natural breathing. But what we're going to work on today is moving more and more into natural breath and being really mindful of the breath. So what I want you to work on today is this feeling of on the inhale, the belly expands, and on the exhale, the belly condenses. You can put your hands on the belly with your fingertips really close to each other, and on the exhale, the fingertips will touch, and on the inhale, the fingertips will widen away from each other. I can exaggerate this for you. It's like this. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. It's obviously a more subtle motion, but the fingertips move away from each other with the inhale and come to touch on the exhale. So just be really mindful in everything you do today of the movement of your belly, allowing it to be soft, and noticing if you hold tension, if you're holding your body, if you're stopping the belly from moving. And if you notice that, no need to beat up on yourself. Name calling doesn't help. Just soften, relax, let the belly move. I hope you have a wonderful and mindful day.